Time for some U.S. history. Tricky Dick was easily one of the most, how do I phrase it, unique presidents of the United States. Now, most of you know him as the Crook.
Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
Sorry. As the falsely accused perpetrator of the Watergate scandal, but Ricky was familiar with definitely false accusations well before Watergate. Meet Spiro Agnew, Nixon's first vice president. Spiro's political career began in Maryland, where he was elected as the Baltimore County executive and later the governor of Maryland. Interestingly, as the Baltimore County executive, he was often accused of being too close to rich and influential businessmen. Kinda sketchy if you ask me. Oh, and who would have guessed? When he was running for governor, he failed to report 3 bribes he was offered. Now, admittedly, he didn't take the bribes, but you're still supposed to, tell people you were offered illegal money. Anyway, his nomination for vice president kinda came out of nowhere. Admittedly, Nixon was very popular, but at this point in time, Spiro was virtually unheard of.
Well, I figured there was better fellows he could have picked up, was more well-known than Mr. Agnew. Right now, I don't know what to think about him.
Well, I guess I was a little surprised about it.
I think he'll get beat.
I've never heard of that man in my life.
I don't know who that is.
In fact, when a newspaper called the Viking Press interviewed random Atlanta residents and asked them what they thought of Spiro Agnew, one person thought he was a disease and another person thought he was a type of egg. Regardless, Nixon won in the end and Spiro became the vice president of the United States. During his first term, Spiro had a bit of a rocky time, but for the most part, it was a successful 4 years. It was during Nixon's second term that everything seemed to go wrong. In 1972, a lawyer named George Bale began investigating corruption within the Baltimore County government. This eventually led to some discoveries pertaining to Mr. Agnew and prompted additional investigations into his time as governor. It was then discovered that Spiro had not only accepted money while in office in Maryland, but he had also been receiving payments well into his vice presidency. Not to mention a lot of tax evasion. Long story short, my guy was insanely corrupt. Spiro decided to resign from office, probably due to some slight coercion by the Nixon administration, and believe it or not, he wasn't pardoned. Probably because at this point, Nixon was trying to desperately quell the flames that was the Watergate scandal, and pardoning a corrupt former vice president might not have made him look too good. Anyway, Spiro pled no contest and was fined $10,000 along with 3 years of probation. To pay for his legal fees, he took out a $200,000 loan from none other than Frank Sinatra. And it was after this point that he truly went off the rails. Spiro, seemingly out of nowhere, turned into a massive anti-Semite. He started blaming Jewish people and Zionists for forcing him out of office. Trust me, I'm drawing the parallel too. Anyway, he then requested a $2 million loan from the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia to somehow bring justice and stop the Zionists. Don't ask me how. After that, he then called for a jihad against Israel. I guess that's how. If you think his communication with Saudi Arabia was an outlier, you should also know that he assisted Saddam Hussein in getting uniforms for the Iraqi army. Because why wouldn't he do something like that? Anyway, he passed away in 1996 from leukemia, and that finally brought an end to the antics of Spiro Agnew. Thank you for watching.